Hi everybody, Coach Steve back. Hey, thanks for coming back. This is the second video in your success plan. Remember, the first video was vision. This one is commitment. The next one is what do you want? The final one is the one-year action plan. The fact that you're back, I'll take as a vote of confidence. No, only kidding. Thanks so much. Look, I may have been moving my hands around showing you this little sticker. I changed the battery before we began our first video, but it does say Energizer. So I'm hoping that that's exactly what I did. But it's an example of excellence versus perfection. You know, the videos have to be a certain way to get the lessons across. My first set of lessons were with a crinkled up sheet behind me. So this is far better than that. And you know, maybe the next set will be just as well too. The important thing in your life with vision and the success plan is to get started. All right, let's now go back and recap vision. Remember, the formula first is vision plus commitment equals what do you want with a one-year action plan. And your vision, don't forget now, have a pen and paper in front of you. Stop the video if you need it. That, you know, I want you to be able to replay and pause whenever you need to. Also, I want to remind you that vision is a dream that never ends. It's going to have a lot to do with your values, and it's going to have to do with your enthusiasm and passion. I'm assuming by now that you've done the homework lesson. If you have not, for most of you, you should stop right now and go complete it. However, for a small percentage of you, it's likely a week later. You know, for you maniacs, you started vision on Monday and now it's Tuesday, or maybe started at 1 and now it's 3. I get that. I'm like that too. Fine. But however far you've gotten, some of you, a small minority of you, when you hear the vision work and you do that assignment, so vision being here, commitments being here, you blend them, your vision will get stronger. So if it's at a draft stage and it's not like rock solid for you yet, don't worry about that. We'll tell you exactly where you're supposed to be. Okay. So remember that as a result, my vision for you, the result is for you to be happier, you to be healthier, and you to be financially free. I want you to know that journey, if you're not already financially free, and you have some ideas about it, but not really, it's about a 3-year journey, quite honestly. Again, no one will tell you this because those weekend warrior seminars want to sell you more seminars. You don't need any more friggin' seminars. What you need is lessons that you can keep looking back at that help you progress along. And if you get involved with our video coaching program, after your starter program, whether it was Quick Start for Life, Fast Start for Business, Jump Start for Health, Kick Start for Relationship, or Fresh Start for Wealth Building, and get that whole series of videos, your best buy is buy them all in one shot. They're $499 US or Canadian, wherever your rear end is. That's the currency we will bill you in. That upsets me too. Just go ahead and purchase all of those, and it will probably be a 3-year journey. It might be faster, but 3-year journey. Just keep working the system. Now look, if you just went, 3 years, how old are you? How long have you been struggling now? 3 years, trust me, doing it right will go by just like that. Don't worry about it. The important thing is to get started and know what's available to you. Okay, what I want you to do, if you have created a vision statement for yourself, I want you to work in the next 7 days while you're learning about commitments and doing that assignment to polish up that vision statement and make it really, really good. Okay, keep working on that. The second part starts today with commitments. Remember, I said I hate, strong language, sorry, I hate the friggin' word goal or goals because it's wishy-washy, it's overused, it's saturated, there's all kinds of stuff written about it, it doesn't have any impact anymore, nobody cares. So I'm not interested in you having goals or setting goals, or if you want to do that, great. But I say commitments are a lot stronger than any goal that you could ever have. Now, if you still have questions about vision, email me, coachsteve@coachsteve.com. But let's move on to the second part of our program, commitments, because vision plus commitments equals what do you want with a one-year plan. And we'll get to those last two. Since 1978, I've observed people use goals language, and myself too. I was 19 and a half at the time, and with that goals language, I got absolutely nowhere. When I make a commitment to something or someone, it is rock solid. So we're going with commitments. Now I want to define commitments in a way that you'll take them as seriously as others or I do. So a commitment means that when you state it, or better, write it down, or both, that you will do whatever it takes to accomplish or achieve that commitment. No matter how many problems you bump into, problems, struggles, challenges, roadblocks, speed bumps, all those metaphors, no matter what comes up, when you write the commitment and then speak it with your integrity is the relationship that you have with your own word. When you speak it, or I say declare it, to me, it's already done. It's just a matter of time because you have to set a by when date, and we don't know what that date is. So if you're the type of person, when you set a commitment, especially for others, you do whatever you have to do, you do whatever it takes, that is perfect. Now, in our coaching moving forward, because we're old buddies now, you've already been through one video, your integrity is the precision of your language and what you say you're going to do. No mixed up, foggy, drifty like terms, confusing terms. We want crystal clarity, absolute clarity on your word. Look, when you make promises to other people, don't you keep them? I know the answer. It's yes. So with those other people, you have integrity. Jim, I'll be there at Saturday, 1 o'clock to help you move. Do you really want to lug a bunch of furniture? No, but it's a friend, family member, coworker, or associate, so you're going to help. You make the commitment, you show up, and you do the work. That's your integrity with others. But what about your integrity with you? What promises have you made from your conscious mind as far back as you can remember to yourself that you break over and over and over? Look, don't you think that's why your brain has negative conversations? You're going to need something that I call your LVMS. It's your little voice management system. Remember the old cartoon where we had the angel on this shoulder and the devil on the other? As a kid, it's funny. As an adult, it's endless brain chatter. They just keep talking and you keep listening. You're stuck in the middle, aren't you? And they're talking all the friggin' time. Do you know that they're talking in your sleep? You actually dream conflicting thoughts when you're not crystal clear on what your commitments are for yourself. I don't want that to happen to you or anybody ever again. So be precise in your language. When you make your commitments, wonderful. Now look, in your life, you've probably made some commitments. In your business, you've probably made some commitments. You've probably achieved or accomplished some of both, or maybe you've accomplished or achieved a bunch in business, but not much in life, or vice versa. Why is that? It just has you having a higher priority to one or the other. Let's get them balanced. Remember, you want to be crystal clear about what's going on relative to your own commitments. And whatever it takes means that you're going to find a way to hold yourself accountable. If you have self-discipline, great. Most people don't. 90% don't. So encourage somebody to help you, a buddy, a mentor, a coach. If you want one of my coaches live, we can give them to you. If you want to go into my Top Gun program, it'll be me kicking your butt. But it's expensive in Top Gun, and it's less expensive for other coaches. It's really affordable with these videos. Just keep going with the videos until it doesn't work for you anymore. Then we'll get you to the next level. But in your local circles, buddies or mentors, but they should not be family members. So be careful with that, right? Now, when you have a correct relationship with your word, integrity, I want you to start being if you're not. I want you to continue being if you are. Very careful about what it is you say, especially who you say it to and how you say it. Stop saying things you know you won't do. Stop saying things you don't mean. That's why goals is saturated and no good. That's why commitments are stronger. So I want you to be very careful about what you say. I also want you to be very careful about saying too much. Many of you, one of the 20 most common problems that throws people off is overcommitting. Your inability to say no, N-O, to other people. Okay, we'll work up to it. If that's too strong for you, I want you to start by saying to people, not yet, a form of not yet, and not now, some form of not now. And then build up to no. And when it's no, say no. And if they can't handle it, that's their problem. It's not your problem. Don't worry about that. Now, also part of accelerating and achieving and accomplishing your commitments when you're doing whatever it takes is to move mountains. Yeah, there's obstacles and challenges that are going to pop up on your path to trying to complete these things. You know, trying is to fail with honor. I do not want you to fail. So you will be challenged to move certain mountains to accomplish certain things. And you know what? That's a beautiful thing. Nobody ever accomplished anything worthwhile without having some setbacks or having to move some mountains. The next most important thing is, the hardest one of all, you're going to have to do what I call alter your universe. What altering your universe means is this. However old you are, to date, you have some habits, Some of those are supportive success habits. They've gotten you to where you are today. Woohoo! Some of those habits have not supported you. They're bad habits that you picked up along the way. Now look, a habit can really take you out, because if you leave a bad habit in place, it'll become a routine, and then those routines overtake your life. You probably know by now, 95% of our population worldwide, 6.5 billion people, do 95% of the exact same thing tomorrow that they've done today. What we're doing here with our system is to change your way of thinking. We work first on your mindset, the right mindset. Second, we work on the knowledge. Third, we work on the system. We're just in step 2 of the first 4 steps, and there are 80 more lessons behind these should you choose to continue. There's a lot to do, but woohoo, you're moving right along now. Now, when you create your commitments when we're done, and one of mine 8 years ago was to create an international worldwide company. Woo! I did it through commitments and staying accountable and having coaches coach me, and when I was down, people picked me up, and when I needed money, I got loans, and whatever it took, right? So when you create your commitments, I want you to create no less than 10 commitments. And if that scares you, that means that your life is so small right now, you have to create 10 to be able to expand it. 10 things that you're going to declare that you know for a fact, and me too now, that they're going to get done. Whatever it takes, move the friggin' mountains, alter those crappy habits, alter your universe. I also, though, don't want you to go wacko and get excited and create a zillion commitments. So it's no less than 10, no more than 12. Less than 10, you're not playing a big enough game. More than 12, you're going to get confused. If you like to play it safe, you'll pick 11. Look, when you sit down to do your commitments, if 10 come out, plan on 12 later. If 12 come out, great. If 15 come out, see if you can blend any together in a sentence to make them down to the 12 max. But don't make 73 and condense them down to 12. That won't work either. If you've split your vision statement, one for life and one for business, you must split your commitments as well. You'll have one set of 10 or 12 for life, a second set of 10 or 12 for business. They don't get combined. If you've blended your life and business vision statements together, you will have one set of blended commitments, 10 to 12, that incorporate everything: life, business, health, relationships, wealth building, all into 12. Now, after you're a 1-year student of mine, you've gone through 1 year of this process, you can increase the number of commitments that you do by 3 each year. So year 2 would be 15, year 3, 18, etc. I'm up to about 80 a year. You will eventually get to a place where you can pretty much pick and choose the commitments you want and handle them. But let's get that commitment muscle started to be exercised. We'll deal with the massive numbers later. You're going to have 10 or 12 commitments, but again, the max is 12. So this might be a good time to start that list. If not, and you haven't hit pause, let's just continue to move on. Now, if you have really big commitments and you know you can't accommodate those or accomplish those on your own, I would suggest, if you're financially okay, in other words, making probably 6 figures or more, you would look into my Top Gun program. I'm like your kick butt insurance policy to make sure that you'll have all those and get them done. Now, if you're not in that bracket where you can afford Top Gun yet, I'll get you there, someday you will, then let's just go with our video coaching programs. Look, a single video is $19. And the whole set, all 5 categories, business, life, health, relationships, and wealth building, is $499. If you've ever been coached by anybody before, as a life coach per se, they probably charge you $150 a month for 3 or 4 short sessions. You know, at the end of the month, you've spent $150. That coach, trust me, I know, I've been doing this. I wrote a book called Coaching Done Right. I know all the scams. I know everything that goes on. That coach barely knows you. At the end of $150 spent with me, you've got 1 of 4 life, business, health, or relationships. You've got all those lessons for life archived. So you can have your high impact event here with your starter program. You can have your frequency of information because you bought the set. You have your ongoing support. That's its job. Find a buddy, go to Top Gun, or talk to one of my coaches. It's as simple as that. Now, moving forward, by the way, you cannot get the wealth building set until you've gone through the other 4 sets. You must be balanced in life with life, business, health, and relationships first. There's no point in talking about wealth. Trust me, you won't get there if you don't have those worked out. So we'll get to that eventually. Now, let's say we fast forwarded 12 months from now, you and I, we teleport ahead a year from today. Do you think that you'll be happier given your vision statement, and let's pretend for a moment your commitments are at least complete, even though you haven't acted on them yet? Do you think you'll be happier? Woohoo! I say yes. Do you think you'll be healthier, at least in the mind, if not the body, or both? I say yes. Woohoo! Will you be financially free? Perhaps, but at least you're on the path, right? No longer are you dealing with financial setbacks. Some of your commitments will relate to money. Some of your commitments should relate to money. In fact, some of your commitments should relate to investing money. And maybe you don't know how to do that. That's why we created the wealth building video set. By the way, it's extremely hot in the studio today, different than the last time we met, so there it is, right? Now, your homework assignment is to create your 10 to 12 commitments on a sheet of paper, numbering them from 1 through 12, and listing them by name, and then adding a by-when statement. You can do this on a blank sheet of paper. You can do it in Microsoft Word. Later, you'll be introduced to a piece of software that I created 10 years in the making. I actually had to buy the company to do it, called Focal Point Advantage. You'll actually put your vision statement and your commitments and your what do you want list into Focal Point, and electronically it'll kick your butt as an accountability buddy to make sure that everything comes true for you. More about that later. So what I want you to do is take on the assignment, remembering that you must plan your commitments. They don't happen by accident. I'm not going to China in a week to close a $4.5 million deal because I have a leprechaun in my pocket. I had to work my butt off and plan that out almost for 18 months, just for one trip. So I want you to make sure you think your commitments through really well, keeping in mind that you want the high impact event. So take some stretches, take some risks. You want to frequently look at the material. So keep watching this video if you're stuck creating these commitments. And of course, last, you want that ongoing support. So look, you've only done one lesson so far, but you probably feel a lot better already. The magic starts in coaching at the 3rd week. You know, when you're done with your vision, done with your commitments, and done with your what do you want list, you will feel dramatically different than when you started a week ago or one video ago, an hour ago or a day ago, you know, whatever you maniacs do when you watch these things, right? So when you make up your list of commitments, you're basically saying, I know I will do whatever it takes, and I'm starting to see what that means. I know I'm going to move mountains, and I'm starting to see what mountains I'll have to move to accomplish these things. And I know I'm going to have to change myself a bit in some of these habits. I'm going to have to alter. That's going to be hard. I'm going to need some help there. I would agree. I think you will need help there, but it's okay. You see, coaches hold you accountable, but also Focal Point software will hold you accountable. So go to www.focalpointadvantage.com. I'm going to give you a 30-day free trial there for being a valued client here in your starter program. The second month that you're with us there is $1. So 60 days for $1. If you hate it, bail. We'll never charge you another dime. If you love it, after that, so you know we don't pull any punches, it's $29 a month, US or Canadian, wherever you live, to have Focal Point Advantage be your electronic buddy and remind you of things when you're falling behind. That's its job. Plus, I check Focal Point from time to time, and I spot call people every once in a while. It might be on your voicemail soon. So, once again, when you fast forward a year from now, you want to know you're ahead of the game. So, I want you to share your commitment list after it's done with some people. I want you to have a little bit of peer pressure for those people that you know that will sort of bring it up and remind you to hold you accountable. That's another level. We want to have as many levels as we possibly can. And then I want you to sort of ask yourself, why did you choose the commitments that you chose? Why are those important to you? Why did you pick those of all the commitments that you could pick? And one of the reasons why it's important to have your draft vision pretty much decided is if those commitments are not in alignment with the vision that you have for your life, those bookends, your values, your enthusiasms, the likelihood of those commitments completing, achieving, accomplishing are less. So double check your commitments against your vision and your vision against your commitments. I also want to let you know, a general rule of coaching is when your intelligence is high, your emotions are driven low. Good, that's the way in which we want to operate our lives. But the opposite is true. When your emotions are high, your intelligence is driven low. That's just a function of the brain. It's nothing to do with you. You're not sick. You don't need therapy. You're not depressed. That's the way the brain works. So what I want you to know, that's called a scotoma, or in plain English, a blind spot. You see, if we looked at your life and we took this hand and it represents your life and we went like this, I hope you can still hear me. I can still see out these eye holes, but I have some blind spots. Your emotions are those blind spots. Your job is to take your intellect, drive it up, which will, in essence, take your emotions and remove them out of your way. You see, that's what's been holding you back, whether you know it or not. It's not that you can't make goals or commitments or visions or missions and plans and this. It's that your emotions want to take you over and create blind spots. What we're doing with our success plan here is we're teaching you how to be aware of that going to happen, being conscious of that happening, so when it starts to come to take you over, your intellect says, no freaking way. I have the right mind, I have the right knowledge, I have the right system. I know what my vision for my life is, even though there's no guarantees. I know what my commitments are. They're already done in my mind. I just need the time to go by. Exactly right. So we want to block out those blind spots. You see, when you've got a crystal clear vision for yourself and you have absolute clarity on your commitments, you are deadly focused. Like, what else should you be working on? You're living your life moving toward that vision, and you probably do that till you die. Good. That means you're on the right path. The commitments, you'll take action on those and achieve them, and then next year we'll do another set, and we'll keep adding a few so you keep growing and expanding. Look, doesn't that make common sense to you? That's how I've done it. All this teaching and all these wild formulas and crazy stuff I've heard, it's just basic common sense 101. That's the way it is for me anyway. All right, so what can happen when you're crystal clear and focused with your vision is, I wanted to write a book. I wrote a book, my first one. I've actually written 5. I have 2 more coming out. My first book took 4 friggin' years, and I'm telling you, I procrastinated for 3.5. The second book took 2 months. And every book since has been about 2 months. And I probably could have done them in 2 weeks. See, once you know what you don't know, it's easy. What you know that you didn't know before we started is vision plus commitment equals what do you want, and you need a 1-year action plan. Hopefully you've got your vision, or it's close. Now you're going to create your commitments. After today, you're 50% home. You're 50% through the success plan. You just have to start living it. So just 2 sessions, if you take the $50 and divide it by 4, what are we at? Like $20 or $25, $30? You are far further along on 2 videos than you were for the last decade, perhaps. Imagine what it's going to be like if you've got your starter program down, plus all 5 areas, life, biz, health, relationships, and wealth building. And you've got all those videos down. What do you think life is going to be like then after 82 lessons if here you are at 1.5 already jacked and confident, and your self-respect's going up and your self-esteem is going up, which means your self-doubt is going down and your self-worth is going up. That's what we want. I want you to read a book that I have online. It's called Self-Esteem, The Limiter of All Mankind. It's completely free. Go to my website. It's 130 pages. It'll take you 2 hours to read it. It's in big print, www.coachsteve.com. Search for my ebook about self-esteem. Go get that. It's important. Because you can write a book in 2 months as well. When I decided to create Focal Point Advantage software, I endeavored to design that software for 10 years. I'm kidding you not. And I couldn't find any programmers to program it. I couldn't find any companies to create it. So I bought a software company. Yeah. Or I bought into it. I didn't buy it completely. I bought into it and said, redesign this thing to that thing, and away we go. And you're looking at the result, this program, which then leads people to that tool for $29 a month. It's ridiculously cheap to stay on track and accomplish things. That's Focal Point Advantage software. I had to buy the company. But that's what you can do when you're focused on your vision and commitments, right? Remember, help people all over the world regardless of their financial circumstances. Focal Point software for $29 is, in my opinion, the best productivity and accountability tool on the market. That's what I want to do. And it was a commitment. Boom, done. So once you choose your vision for your life and how you're going to guide your life, and you decide on your commitments, now you know exactly where all your time and energy should go. You're not going to be distracted by anything. Or if you are, you'll report that distraction to me as your coach by email, coachsteve@coachsteve.com, and I'll boot you in the electronic fanny and we'll get that straightened out. Pardon me while I move a couple of lessons around. So the software is going to help you to focus your time and energy. The commitments themselves are going to help you to focus your time and energy. So guess what? You're going to make it happen. There are no excuses anymore. Excuses be gone. I don't want to hear them. The end result of your vision and your commitment is what? Clarity. Isn't that why you're here? If you stay in that clarity, you will produce for yourself peace of mind. These two will stop talking. You will have tranquility in your life. Do you know that we polled 65,000 people 5 years ago and we asked them about work? We got back low feedback, I think. 58% of the people weren't happy with what they were doing. They say they don't do meaningful work. How can your vision for your life, those bookends, that dream that never ends, survive if you don't love what you do and it's meaningful to you? How can you commit to any actions around a job that sucks with a boss that's a moron, perhaps, and also live your dream? How can you do that? I never could. Most of the people I've come in contact with that were my bosses, I've learned by now, were idiots. I mean, that's part of my courage, freedom, and independence, I guess. So maybe it's baggage I'm carrying, but I don't care. I run my life. If you're in a job, the old joke, just over broke, that you hate, get out. I mean, what's so freaking hard about that? I'm going to be blunt. That's straightforward coaching, the name of my company. So you want to go from a job to self-employed, that has to be a commitment. If you want to go from self-employed to successful, working 20 hours a week instead of 70 hours a week, or 2 days or 3 days instead of 6 or 7 days. In June, July, and August, I work 1 day a month. I'm sorry, 1 day a week. 4 days a month. Who else can say that? Not that many people. I've structured my life and commitments and vision in such a way that that's what I do. You can too. You just have to choose to and plan it. From self-employed, you want to go to business owner eventually so that you don't have to do anything. You're just calling the shots. I have 27 people that work for me and they're all over. It's a virtual company. I just tell them what to do, or they ask me what to do very respectfully in both directions, and it gets done. And then eventually you want to go from a business owner to just an investor. Just make your money make you make more money. And I'll show you how to do that in the wealth building course. Why wouldn't you want to be an investor that gets a dividend check sent to you at any location you are, whether I'm in my Maui home or I'm in my Cabo San Lucas timeshare, or I'm traveling around the world for business or traveling around the world for pleasure? Why don't I just want that money to drop on my electronic debit card of the world passively and get it done? I do, and I do. So you probably do too. Now, I've never met anybody who's had a job that was financially free. You can't get there. The system is stacked up against you. Business owners will pay you usually just enough not to quit, which then you resent and work hard enough not to get fired. And that's it. You're really not going for the brass ring. Only business owners start that. But then there's a trap with your clients controlling you and so forth. So we have to figure out ways to get out of all those situations. Part of your commitment to self is to reduce your tax burden. If you're in a job or you own your own business and you're Canadian or American, which is the majority of our students, you're overpaying in your taxes right now by somewhere between 12 and 25%. Wouldn't it be cool if I showed you how to get a 12 to 25% raise without doing anything more at work if it's a job or in business? Wouldn't it be? I mean, that's like a 2-second thing in the business. I forget what chapter it's in my business video commitment, but it's like a 2-minute passing comment. And no, I'm not going to give it to you now. I want you to buy those videos. Come on. So the secret is for you to commit now to an investment education. That's a good one to have on your commitment list if you choose to. I'm not telling you what to do. It's your life. But that's a great one. Also, you can be paid in certain ways when you know how to maneuver and work around or manipulate money. You could be paid in royalties that are tax-free or less tax. You could be paid in dividends that are tax-free or less in tax. But you have to know all this. See, most of my students, probably you too, are middle-class people, just like I was. That's why I know your world so well. but they're getting killed. The middle class pays between 37 and 44% taxes. So a good commitment for you to have is pay less taxes, legally, morally, and ethically. There are loopholes in the tax code that the rich take advantage of because we pay people to do that for us. But I want to share those loopholes with you now that I know what they are. Back in the day, I had no freaking clue. I want to share those now. I want you to be able to increase your income. So one way is to reduce tax. The other way is to decrease overhead, either in your life or at your business, without hampering your lifestyle, without living out of a cardboard box. That's stupid to go that far. Unless you have to take one step backward to later take one step forward. Your biggest expenses are your overhead. The biggest expense in your overhead is taxes. I just told you we can drop that by 12 to 25% perhaps. So let's reduce that. Another way is to simplify your lifestyle. That may be a way, an item you'd add to your commitments. Opening a multi-level marketing business. I have a great one. I have a great one for you. I'll tell you about it later. So that's a business in the box. If you don't sell a dime of multi-level marketing product, you still get all the tax deductions, completely legal. So, I'm becoming, I went from Steve Keogh to Coach Steve. I'm going from Coach Steve over to Robin Hood. I'm taking what's rich in all of life. I'm not just giving it to the poor. I want to give it to everybody. I want you to do that too. Take what you can take from your life and spread it around and influence for those around you. That's why I want you to tell your friends and family members and coworkers and associates about these videos. Who wouldn't pay $50 in this starter program, just like you, to learn what you've learned so far? You've probably read a zillion books and gone to a bazillion seminars, and you've learned less because it wasn't compacted. Here, I got an hour to get the point across, and that's it. I've got 21 years of knowledge and education to impart on you in an hour about one topic. Then have you do an assignment to kick butt and move on. That's what we have to do. So in my Robin Hood-esque-ness, I know it's not a word, there's a Steveism, I've created a company called the 99centmiracle.com. This is where people, good people like you, anywhere in the world will get content, very rich, high quality content, free for life. My internet strategy guy says, don't go on those freaking videos and say free for life. I said, my company, free for life. You will never, ever be charged a dime for anything on 99centmiracle.com. Never. So go up there and look at what it is, www.99centmiracle.com. It's amazing. Go look. Now, after just 2 sessions, your vision and now your commitments are starting to come together. So we are starting to conquer some of that confusion in your mind. Either the devil or the angel or both are starting to quiet down a bit because you're starting to get this now. Now look, the next thing we're going to do is tee up your third lesson, which is what do you want or desire from life? I mentioned it before. Most people don't know what they want, so they never get what they want because they don't go after it or they don't work on it. We're going to change that. We're going to make sure that you know all about it. Then in lesson 4, we're going to go on and tee up for you the introduction to your 1-year action plan. I shared with you before, conventional wisdom sucks. So I'm going to show you a new way how to manage resources, how to manage money, how to manage time. Money 2 ways, time 3 ways. It's going to be foreign. It's going to be confusing. I'm telling you now, so it seeps into your coconut and you go, okay, when he shows me that new stuff, I'm not going to shut down. I'm going to be ready for it. See, I'm planting seeds in your brain right now. Don't forget, though, you still have the job of holding yourself accountable to live your vision and to complete, achieve, accomplish whatever your commitments. So you're going to need a buddy. You're probably going to need some mentoring. That's where the videos come in. And if you need the electronic buddy, just go to focalpointadvantage.com, www, of course, right? All right, so I want you to know what we're going to do next is have you work on your commitments right now. So go ahead and complete your clearing. Huh? What are you talking about, Coach Steve? Remember I said last video that when you go to do your assignment, you're doing stuff and I'm doing stuff. So you have to stop doing the stuff so you can focus on commitment. So I want you with a blank sheet of paper in front of you that at the top says number, commitment, by when, and you're going to then, in a quiet space, by the ocean, at the library, wherever, after your clearing, get to work. So your clearing is write down on a list of paper from the last video until now. If that was an hour ago, a day ago, or 7 days ago, what's been working, write it all down, all the stuff, 50 things maybe. What's not working? 100 things maybe, 10 things, 2 things, whatever. What's missing in your life? What's next? Slide it off to the side. Now you're ready to go. With that sheet of paper, I want you to write down at the top, not where the commitment part is, at the top. Please score your vision now. 1 is low, 10 is high. Where are you? 1 to 10, score your vision right now. Most people will say, did you put your score down? Because I'm going to give you an answer. Write it down or stop this. Most people say 6 or 7. 7 is where you want to be right now, or better. 6, you want to get to 7 right away. Now, between now and next week, you want to keep saying your vision statement if you've gotten past draft into final out loud twice a day, every day for the next 30 days. But in the next 7 days, what you're going to hear is enough repetition that that 7 will go 8, 9, 10. 10's perfection. We don't need to go there. 9 is good. Okay? Right now, 7, 8, or 9. Or get cracking on that old vision and bring it up to at least 7 before you start working heavily on your commitments. So, if your vision is 7 or more, we're going to move on. If not, stop the tape, go back, get your vision to 7, come on back. Or listen to this, because the frequency of information won't hurt you anyway. When you watch the commitment video right now, you're watching it. Are you experiencing anything? If you are, write it down. Are you feeling anything? If you are, write it down. You want to notice that. Now, go ahead and do the assignment. Create 10, 11, or 12 commitments. No less than 10. I want you playing a big game. No more than 12. I don't want you confused. If you're one of those people that plays it safe in 11, that's fine for now. But we're getting it up to 12 one way or the other. Now, I want you on your sheet of paper, when you write them down by number, by name, make sure you put a by when next there. This is a guess. Remember, I said, I believe in you so much that when you know your commitments, they're already done. But maybe your commitment was something that said, I'll save 20 grand by the end of the year, so the date will be 12/31, if you're on a calendar cycle. If you're starting this now and it's May 1st, then it would be April 30th of 2012 or whatever year we're in, because these videos are going to go on forever, right? Nothing's changing this curriculum for 8 years. Not going to change for the next 80 years, more than likely, except some business stuff with internet marketing and social media. Once you have your 12, 10, 11, or 12, I want you to prioritize them, put them in the appropriate order, then print them out. And if you're over there at focalpointadvantage.com on the software, I want you to list them by priority too. The reason for that is so that when you have a free moment and you go, crap, I never have a free moment, but I have a free moment. What should I be working on? I want you to be able to touch that commitment list quick and get cracking on number 1 if it's not accomplished or achieved. If it is, fantastic. If it's not, get cracking on it. Speaking of achievements, I want you to keep a separate list of paper, starting right now, that says my 2,000 whatever achievements, and start writing at least 1, better 2 or 3, every week. What did you achieve? So when you get to the end of the year and you look back and say, did I have a good year? Did I have a productive year? Look, if you try to go from memory, you're going to remember accomplishments for maybe 6 or 8 weeks, and that's going to be about it. But if you write them down, you'll have accomplishments for the entire year. I mentioned last year I had 152. I never thought I had 152. Life's pretty quick and bizarre and busy and all. Make sure you're writing those down. Okay, so what I want you to know is as you work on your commitments, you might need to spend some time on this. It's okay. I also want you to bounce some of your commitment ideas off other people. And when you're bouncing them off other people, they're going to say, what are you up to? I want you to tell them, I'm using this starter video program by Coach Steve, and whether it was Quick Start, Fast Start, Jump Start, Kick Start, or Fresh Start, just refer them. Let them know how they get a hold of me, because they deserve it. They deserve it just like you deserve it. You're getting clearer. They deserve to be clearer too. They may end up being your buddy system, but careful about family-based. That's not the greatest. Maybe you want to connect a family member to a friend or a friend to a family member rather than yourself. You see, you can be a difference maker to them by this referral. This is your circle of influence, so you definitely want to pay it forward. Plus, as your circle of influence grows in stature, you grow in stature, because we are the average of the 5 closest people around us. If you're hanging around with a bunch of toxic people, that might be why you're struggling with your vision and your commitments. If you're hanging around a bunch of millionaires, I'm pretty sure by a period of time, you're going to become a millionaire. That's kind of what I did, sort of. It's a long story, but sort of. you're also right now probably mildly happier, healthier, and financially mindset free. Maybe not the money yet, but the mindset's getting there. They deserve to be happy, healthy, and financially free too. So go ahead and pay it forward. You know, you're doing a great job. You're working really hard at this. So I want you to keep on going with your lessons, especially the next lesson. It's really important. In just 3 lessons, the end of the next video, you're back in the game. You are completely back on track. You're back on top of your life after 3 videos and 3 sets of homework, because you'll have a vision, 12 commitments, and a full list of what you want. Then we have to go to the action plan. A little bit harder, but at least by then you're crystal clear. Look, the problem for most people is they will settle for a freaking boring existence. I'm not going to do that. I don't want you to do that. I want your life to be a mad, crazy adventure, like a roller coaster ride with big highs and crashing lows. So it's so exciting, you don't know what to do with yourself, excuse me. All right? So watch your email for the next video. But I want you to remind you that this is an ongoing process. So watch for video 3, get your list handled and taped up somewhere on the fridge, bathroom mirror, whatever is good for you. You want to be looking at these commitments every day, just like you're speaking your vision every day as well. You have come so far already in 2 videos. And in just 2 assignments, when you're done with this assignment, you're going to be so much clearer about not only what the future looks like, you're going to be clear about why the past was a little messy. And you know what? Let's leave it there. Anybody who runs their life looking in the rearview mirror gets killed by the oncoming trucks. We are focused and determined, and we're moving forward. The past is the past. We have to complete with it and put it there where it belongs. That's why I want you to read my self-esteem book. It'll teach you how to complete and put the past in the past. Put the hurts in the past, the sorrows, the anger, the resentment. We'll put it all in the past so that all your energy, you see, it's not about ROI, return on investment. It's about ROE. Time is far more precious than money. It's about your return on energy. So if you run all your energy to create an amazing vision for your life and you keep that in the forefront of your mind, great, those bookends are working. It's almost like horse blinders. Those bookends keep you from seeing all the shiny things going on all around you. Forget those shiny objects. They will take you off your path. They probably already have. Then you get focused on your commitment. You put all your energy into those commitments. How could they not happen? I know you. When you're focused, you produce amazing things. Same as me. When I'm distracted, I produce nothing. That's why I say no. And you should say not yet, not now, and eventually no. So go ahead and do 3 things. Polish up that vision statement. Get these 10, 11, 12 commitments done. Go on up to the 99-cent miracle. Free for life. Get yourself signed up. Go over to Focal Point Software, focalpointadvantage.com, get the trial rolling and start putting these things into that system. It's free for 30 days. It's $1 for another 30 days, $1 for 60 days. Let's just call it free. We want to make sure you're using all these tools to keep moving forward. Go do it. I'll see you on the next video, the one that's video number 3. What do you want or desire from life? See you over there. Coach Steve, great job. Woohoo! Bye for now.